Free, of course, is a very, very exciting price. We see people doing all kinds of crazy things, or seems to be crazy things for free. We see relatively wealthy people stand long time in line to get free Ben & Jerry's ice cream or get something for free. And you can ask yourself, would the same people stand in line for the same amount of time to get free, $2.25? Most likely not. We see sometimes people in flights, cross-Atlantic flights where the alcohol is free, drinking lots and lots of alcohol on those flights, of course making their ability to recover from the hangover, from the jet lag, much, much lower. There's all kinds of things that seems to be questioning our ability to think rationally when free is involved. But these are not exact tests of this idea, so we tried to examine it in a more precise way. So imagine I gave you the following. I said, look, you can have this truffle, this wonderful chocolate truffle, for 25 cents. Or you could have this small little candy for 1 penny. How are you, and you can have only one of the two. How should you look at this choice? You should say, what's the benefit of this truffle? How much joy am I expecting to get? How much cost does it have? 25 cents. And how much joy am I expecting to have from this small candy, and how much cost does it have? 1 cent. So in reality, when you're given a choice between the two, you should say, what the difference in price is 24 cents. How is the difference in price compared to the difference in quality? If the difference in quality is larger, then you should say, let's get the expensive truffle. If the difference in quality is not worth the price difference, you should say, let's get the cheap chocolate. Now, what happened when you give people this choice? Most people, the vast, vast majority, said, give me the better truffle for more money. But what if we reduce both prices by 1 cent? Instead of, let's say, 25 and 1, it's 24 and 0. What happens now? It's the same computation should carry out. What's the difference in price? 24 cents. What's the difference in quality? The same thing. Which one is larger? But that's not what happened. Now most people go for the one for free. Most people say, oh, this one is free, and they just go for it, almost everybody. Now, you could say, well, when something is free, you don't have to take your wallet out, you don't have to pay, and so on. So we also did this experiment when people checked out from the supermarket. People bought all kinds of things, they were going to pay anyway, and then at the cashier they saw these two offers, either 25 and 1 or 24 and 0. They were going to pay anyway. They were going to take out their credit card or cash and pay anyway. So it was not adding to the hassle in any way. But what happened now? Still, people like the one with the 0. So the idea here is that the moment something involves 0, we're overly excited with it. We don't see the downside. Even if you're in line, standing for a long time for a free Ben & Jerry's ice cream, you don't see the cost. You don't see the cost of your time. You think about it as much more emotionally appealing. One of my favorite experiments on this, by the way, was with kids. This was Halloween, so I was standing out in my house on the porch, and kids were coming, and as they were coming, I said, please put your hand out, and they put their hand, and I put some Hershey Kisses on it, some small candies on it. I said, don't put it back in your bag, hold it on. Once they had it in their hand, I said, now I can either give you a small Snickers bar, 1 ounce, or a large Snickers bar, 2 ounces. And just kind of to get you calibrated, every ounce of a Snickers bar holds between 7 and 8 Hershey Kisses in terms of weight. So what's the right deal? Here is what I offered them. I said to half of them, I said, if you give me 1 Hershey Kiss, I'll give you the small one. If you give me 2 Hershey Kisses, I'll give you the big one. So for 1 extra investment of a Hershey Kiss, they could get another ounce of Snickers bar, paying them 7 to 1 in chocolate per weight, plus I think it's a better chocolate. And what happens? The kids saw this good deal, they gave me 2 Hershey Kisses and I took the big one. That's great. But in this way, both transactions, the small Snickers bars and the large Snickers bar, involve them giving me something. For another group of kids, I reduced the price. I said, what would you like? The small Snickers bar for nothing, or the big Snickers bar for 1 Hershey Kiss? Now again, they had to give 1 extra Hershey Kiss to get the big one. And again, it's a great deal, high return on investment, better chocolate. What happened? Now almost nobody wanted it. So all of these ideas suggest that once something is free, or at least it's phrased as free, we don't see the cost of it. We don't see the downside of it, and we're overly attracted to it. Now you can think about all kinds of things in the market. You can think all kinds of things that we should make free if we want to incentivize people to behave in a certain way. For example, maybe we want to take some unpleasant medical exams and not have any copay for them. I don't know anybody who wants to have colonoscopies, for example, right? Why do we have a copay for colonoscopy? Maybe we should have it at 0, and that would get people to be more attracted to these exams, or at least less repulsed by them. Maybe we want to take examples when we give people tax discounts to do something that is good for the environment. Maybe tax discounts are not enough. Maybe we should make it free. The moment you understand that free is a special price, that people think about it as different than all other prices, you could think differently about how to implement it and how to get people to use it. The last thing I want to say about the price of 0 is that it also works for part of the product. So for example, imagine that I'm selling you a book, and I can sell you the book for $15, and I can sell you the shipping of the book for $5. So together it's 20. So together it's 20, and imagine 3 ways. I can either send you the book for 10 and shipping for 10. I can sell you the book for 20 and shipping for 0. Or I can sell you the book for 0 and shipping for 20. All of those are financially equivalent. Which one is the worst? The one that you're paying for the book and you're paying for the shipping $10 each, because now you don't get anything for free. In contrast, what happens when the book is 20 and shipping is 0? That's great. But when the book is 0 and 20 is shipping, that turns out to be the best. Now you can think about getting the book for nothing. And a final advice for life. When you go out to dinner with friends, there's all kinds of ways in which you can manage the bill at the end of the meal. And I think the worst way to deal with this is for each person to see exactly what they ordered and exactly split the bill accordingly to what's correct. And the reason why I think it's a bad idea is because the end of the experience changes dramatically how we view the whole experience. And if at the end of the meal you're going to penny pinch and worry about something and debate with somebody, or you had a bite from my creme brulee and I took an olive from your salad and so on, that's kind of going to put a damper on the end of the experience and therefore make it less appealing. A better approach is just split the bill. No matter what you got, let's split the bill in general. Now, with some people it might not work as well, and sometimes people eat dramatically different things, but in general, it's a good strategy. But the strategy I like the best is for one person to pay and to alternate who is paying. Why do I like this approach? Because 2 things. One is the pain of paying, and the other one is the effect of free. If you're going out with one friend and you're buying and they're getting it, for them, they got a free meal. It's great. And free meal is not just $1 less than paying $1, or not less, just $20 less than 20. Free meal is a special thing. You get extra happiness out of that. And of course, next time you would get the free meal and so on. On top of that, the person who is treating for the free meal, paying, feels good now. They're not just paying for their meal, they're treating the other person. That's another benefit. But the other thing to realize is that the pain of paying, the amount of psychological agony we get from parting with our money is not linear. It's not increasing at the same rate as the amount of money is increasing. So paying, let's say, $10 is much worse than paying 0. But paying 20 is not much worse than paying 10. It's a little worse, but not much. And paying 40 is not twice as bad as paying 20. So the relationship between how much you're paying and the pain of paying has the same diminishing return pattern we've talked about before. And because of that, if you take a bill, you split it to 2 people, both people have the agony of, let's say, paying $20. But if one person gets to pay $40, they don't get double that agony. So in sum, it's always a good deal to alternate. Not always, but in most cases, it's a good deal to alternate. Somebody gets their meal for free. The other person feels that they're treating, and the accumulation of the pain of paying is not doubling. It's actually a good deal.